I'm going to have a bit of a black and white moment. This is Milliput. It's a putty, it's an epoxy putty, and it sets hard. Hopefully I'll get a fair bit of working time with it. It takes a few hours to set, I think. And it's used for sculpting, repairing, filling. I've seen some really good results with it, particularly from a guy called Jim Overton. Jimson's stuff. Go check out his channel. He's a wood turner, and I've seen him use this for filling in around the edge of bowls and other objects. But particularly some of the examples you'll see in the artwork for the header of his channel. He's got some really nice bowls with some black and white inlay. And it's particularly applicable to turning because you get a nice crisp edge when you turn a groove around the edge of a bowl, and then you could fill in with lumps of alternating black and white putty, and you get this sort of semi-random thing but with a nice crisp edge. But for guitar inlay, where you're hand cutting the inlays, the recesses for the inlays, I don't think you'll get quite such a neat result if you then fill in with the putty. So I'm going to try for a slightly different approach. I'm going to try and prepare some sheet material, random black and white patterns, semi-random. There'll be some regularity to it, as you'll see. I've got a vague idea how I'm going to do this. But I'm going to create sheet material, and then hopefully I can sand this all nicely flat using my drum sander. Hopefully I can cut it into some little purfling strips. It's an experiment. Let's see how it goes. In my head, I've got things like Damascus steel in my mind, and I've also got some of Jim's bowls and stuff as sort of thing I'm sort of aiming for. But I'm going to try a number of different ways of achieving a result. One completely random, and the other two semi-regular. I've never tried this before. This is my first time with it, so let's give it a go. I figure I'm going to use about a quarter of the packet, I think. I'm aiming for three sheets, about 20 by 5. And we have to mix this together, cut equal amounts, mix it together until it's uniform. I'm told you need to knead for about 5 minutes. I'm going to be using gloves. And we're going to cut the same amount of black as we are of white. And I don't want to get the two mixed up. It's like opening a bag of bread. Right, as a rough guess, I'm going to cut about a third of this, which is a stick 40 millimeters long. In theory, I should be able to use. Yeah, we'll use the marks on my cutting board to cut about that much, and cut the same amount of the other one. I don't know which one's the hardener and which one's the resin, but is that about the same? And we just knead and squash until it's a uniform colour. I'm told you need to work this for about 5 minutes. Messy. And I think gloves are essential for this. That's my opinion. According to the instructions, that looks like it's mixed now, but I've only been mixing for a couple of minutes, and I was told that you do need to mix for at least 5 minutes, so I'll just keep going for a little longer. And I'm going to cut that into 2. And I've also realised I'm going to need a separate knife for the white. Should have used something a bit more disposable. Quite how you clean up with this stuff, I'm not sure. I've now contaminated the knife, which I don't want to get on the white. It occurs to me, I don't know which one is the hardener and which one's the resin, if that's how it works. And I may have just contaminated the resin part with the hardener, maybe, because there was some on that knife, but we'll see. Right, same as before, we'll knead this for 5 minutes. Of course, it's harder to tell when this one's mixed because both components are the same colour, so I guess time is a good guide. We'll just keep kneading it for 5 minutes. I'm going to create 2 roughly equal sausages. Right. And now I'm going to roll these together. And I don't want this to be contaminated. Actually, that's looking quite good already. I quite like the look of that. I was going to go as far as plaiting this thing, but I think I'm just going to fold it over on itself and then carry on rolling. And let's do it again. I'm deliberately going to put a bit of a twist into this. I'm liking what I'm seeing up here. I can get more of a twist. And let's do it again. It's starting to become a little bit grey in places, so I'm going to stop there and let's do a sort of a plait, just so that we don't have any lines running through it. If I can do this. Started this off badly. Let's turn it over. There we go. I'm going to see if I can roll this. Right, that's my first one. For this one I'm going to start out with sheets. Yeah, it doesn't release from the greaseproof paper that well. Now I'm going to see if I can layer this. I'm not sure this is quite what I had in mind. Oh, actually, that's quite a nice effect. Got like a nice little Damascus steel thing going on there. Yes, I think this will be the last time I cut it. And what I'll do is I'll go that way deliberately, hopefully. Let's just see if we can squash it sort of that way. Not sure. Actually, that looks not bad. I think I'm going to stop there and I'm going to prepare some more and try one more method. After a bit of experimentation, I reckon this is probably the easiest way to mix it up. Just keep rolling and coiling. Yeah. Right, what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to take a number of bits and I'm just going to create some little sausages of it. Incidentally, you can use water with this to keep everything smooth in the modelling stage. Something I haven't done. I don't know whether I need to really, but it might help to wet the greaseproof paper when I'm rolling it out. We'll try that. Slightly different approach this time. I'm going to try and create something a little bit more regular. Let's see how we get on. Yeah, I was hoping to sort of do it all on a diagonal, but I think this is just going to go together really randomly, so let's just whack it all together and roll it. I'm just going to wet the just a small amount of water. I'm told this works well with water, and I think the water will just help the release a little bit. It stops things sticking, so a bit of water on that. And let's roll it. Yeah, maybe. I think that's probably all I'll do on this. I don't want to mix it together too much. I want all the white and black to be distinct. So I think I'm just going to let that set. Has it stuck to the greaseproof paper? No. There we go. That looks quite good. So here are the results of my endeavours. I've got some really usable stuff here. I've got some nice sort of Damascus steel kind of figuring in this piece. This is a bit messy. I'm wondering whether it'll tidy up with sanding. I guess I can get dot markers. I'm sort of thinking dot markers and logo inlay material. This piece, it looks great, but I think for guitar work it's too big. I think I needed to roll the individual pieces of white and black much smaller to get much finer detail, the sort of level of detail we're seeing in this piece here. And that piece, well, that's probably usable. But I'm going to see what happens when I put these through the drum sander. Get some nice even inlay material. These are the results of the sanding. This one isn't really finished at all. I just quickly went, it only went through the drum sander once. It was just too short. I would have had to have put this on a board, and I wasn't really that invested in this piece. I think I would have been better with much thinner little pieces of black and white when I squidged it all together. Then I think it would give a result that I could definitely use. These I much prefer. I think this one might work well as a logo. This sort of marbling appearance. So my Damascus steel bit here, maybe I could do as dot inlays. Something though that I've realised about this is it's actually a little bit softer and not nearly as brittle as I was led to believe. There is actually the possibility of bending this. I don't know whether I should bend this to destruction on camera. Maybe not, but it will bend. Whether or not it will soften up with heat, I don't know. It kind of feels like the sort of material that probably would soften with heat, but it will take on a permanent bend. So actually the possibilities of using this in rosettes with curved pieces, maybe even as purfling around the edge of the guitar, I think that is possible. I'll just show you the other sides. There's some interesting things going on here. I quite like this Damascus steel look, although there's a lot more white here. It changed quite a lot as it went through the drum sander, because obviously the drum sander was revealing layers. I've taken these down pretty much half the thickness of these. These are now 1.8mm, which is a good thickness for inlay. So I think that was an interesting experiment. I've certainly given myself some inlay material I can use. I might get a little plug cutter and cut some dots out of this maybe. Who knows? Tell me what you think. Comment, like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Bye!